What's going on, YouTube? I never understood why women never use the reason of workplace to justify why they wear their hairs and weaves. I don't agree with it, but if a black woman said, she wears her hair a certain way simply because she feels more comfortable or it's more acceptable in her place of work, then I can't really get on her too much simply because that's how she makes her money, right? And we even dudes too, when we get our hair cut, if we're working in professional America, there's certain hairstyles we have to get, right? It depends on, the type of fade we get, the type of edge up we get. There's certain things that we have to do. What we do is our sideburns and our beards. There's stuff that's acceptable and there's stuff that's not. But I never hear black women say this. I really never, I never really hear it. And that's one of the only reasons a chick can give me to justify it. I feel more comfortable in the workplace because it's not accepted everywhere. Before my sister moved out of state to the East Coast, she has to do the whole, processed hair simply because that was more acceptable. She has dreadlocks now, and quite frankly, she probably wouldn't do as well if she was still in Southern California as she's doing out in the East Coast area simply because it's not as acceptable to be black and have dreadlocks in Southern California as it is elsewhere in the East Coast. Anyways, I wanted to talk about how much time and effort black women have invested into cultivating and, developing black hair in its natural form. When I was a kid, I grew up with my older sister and my younger sister. So black hair, isn't really, it's not new to me. So we used to have black hair magazines laying all over the house, and me and my brother used to look through them, who's cute, who's not cute, and you notice quickly how the light-skinned girls have different hairstyles than the dark-skinned girls, and that's when I first got my taste of, the different skin tones of black women and what goes into them. And they would always have these sections, right, where they would have the natural hair, right, but it would always be bizarre, right, it would always be like over the top and outrageous. It wasn't really meant for everyday wear. It was more so, let's make a statement. Let's have the crazy looking braids or the crazy looking dreadlocks, right? They never had styles in there, or at least enough styles that a woman can say, hey, you know what, I'm a rock. Hey, let me wear my hair like this. It's natural, I wear my hair like this. We never put any time and effort. I say we, black women. So ask yourselves, right? Never should you open up a black hair magazine and they're telling you how to put weaves in your head, and that's the problem. How can you call it black hair, yet the majority of styles that you have in there requires one to wear a weave? And when you have the natural hair stuff, it's always over the top, it's outrageous, and it's just like, yo, even if I was an employer, right, and I was hiring black people, I'd probably be like, yo, this may not be as professional. Right? Because your hair, physical appearance is part of, hair is part of that. So, how you wear your hair as a black woman, of course, can't just be to impress black men. You have to worry about your employers. You have to worry about all these other people that are in your lives other than black men. I get that. Right? But when natural hair becomes the exception and processed hair becomes the majority, and there's a problem with that. There is a problem with that. Right? Dreadlocks is not the only natural way a woman can wear their hair. There's, in my opinion, there's, a lot of other ways they can wear it. I don't really spend too much time thinking about it, but if y'all can get creative with fake hair, I'm sure you could do, just as much with your real hair. Right? It's just the problem is, when a lot of women want to go natural, it's too late because their hair has been, over-processed. No other group of women does as much harm to their head as black women do. So, of course, if you spend, let's say, anywhere between up to 25 with the whole process stuff, that's 25 years Well, scrap that. Let's say when you were a teenager. So you spent anywhere from the age of 12 to 25, 13 years putting chemicals, burning your hair, putting harmful stuff that if you ingested in your body, could kill you on top of your head. So of course, when you want to go natural, there's not much you can do. So I would like to see more of a movement to where women are creating natural hairstyles to the point where I can look through a black hair magazine and the weave section and the process section is, a small segment of the magazine. The bulk of the magazine is ways women can wear their hair naturally. Or if they have to process it with using the least amount of chemicals possible. So anyways, tell me how you feel, especially the black women out there. Let me know how you feel on this issue.